Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Professor Dr. Iqbal Chaudhary, Coordinator General of Comstack. His Excellency Ambassador Askar Musinov, Assistant Secretary General of the OIC. His Excellency Mr. Akan Rahmatullah, Ambassador Rahmatullahin, Ambassador of Kazakhstan to Pakistan. His Excellency Mr. Berik Arin, Ambassador of the Republic of Kazakhstan to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Dr. Darkhan Kadir Ali, President of the International Turkic Academy. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is always a pleasure to speak to an international gathering of people who devote themselves to science, improvement of the lot of the Muslim world, as well as those who indulge in philosophy today. And it is indeed a pleasure that we are recognizing one of the great Muslim philosophers, Abu Nasr Muhammad al-Farabi. And this is the auspicious occasion of his 1150th anniversary, birth anniversary. I personally believe that when man starts thinking about his surroundings, depending on what he knows, a burden of knowledge which is carried forward from previous generations to his mind, then he looks at his own senses and looks at the world around. There are questions which emanate, and that is why even after Socrates or Plato, the earliest of philosophers we know in Greek, after Greek mythology, the questions about our existence and questions about the earth and about the universe remain the same. Despite the fact that we know a lot, we are sometimes very confident, but as time passes, as we know more and more, we realize that we know far less than what we can imagine to be the knowledge around in the world. So philosophy has been a mixture of scientific changes, scientific improvements, the knowledge of the senses, like I said, what is happening all around, and then logic, which mixes these things. So one of the most noble sciences which is considered very pure is mathematics. Mathematics combined to logic and the information of physics, I think that has been dabbled with by philosophers all along. Philosophers in the earlier era were those who understood all sciences available. Today it's impossible. All of you sitting here are probably focusing on different era, different epochs, on small part of the big science, whether it's physics, whether it's maths, whether it's medicine. All of us focus probably on a very small part of what the world knows today. But in those eras, the philosopher was a mathematician, was a person who would talk about logic, was a person who would talk about astronomy, a person who would talk about the universe, and a person who would talk about or write about whatever is happening down in the earth. So my first exposure to philosophy was through the dialogues of Plato. When I was 16 or around that age, my mother asked me to read dialogues of Plato, and I remember reading the Republic, and I remember reading the Apology and some Sophists, etc. It was a very interesting thing to know, because nobody had exposed me to that kind of... I knew 2 plus 2 is 4, and 4 plus 4 is 8, but at the same time, in our daily discussions, the anchor of logic was my first exposure with Plato.